What is good guys, this is Samurai94 again, featuring the high grade 1144 scale Core Gundam and the Jupitive armor. And of course, I also reviewed the Jupitive Gundam. Being a Daban model kit, despite having no logo, this specifically doesn't show much evidence when it comes to looking at it as is, but once you get a hold of it, you'll start to notice the subtle excess plastic on some parts, whether it may be on a peg or a certain surface. A quick trim or sanding can easily fix this. Just like in the previous Core Gundam reviews, the plastic parts in the armor, for this case Jupitive armor, has a lesser plastic quality where it's a bit more brittle. Not a huge issue if I say so myself, but a noticeable one at that. Surface details are not faded, so no problem there at all. Stickers are exactly the same as the previous Core Gundam variants except the Core Gundam 2, since it has more stickers, but essentially the main ones are such as the eye stickers, head cameras, armor lens, as well as the scope in the gun are still there. I technically got this kit as a gift, but it can be bought from here. I'm not sure if the seller knows me, but I highly appreciate the vouchers I get it from time to time. As for the kit's overall look and design, there's no need for color correcting stickers, but I found a lot of opportunities to add my own personal flair to it, such as painting more white on some isolated surfaces and yellow on the circular ones, specifically where it can pop. Daban model made sure to make a similar copy as much as it can with whatever resources that they have, and I see that they are slowly getting better with their releases. I won't be surprised if Bandai suddenly shut down another factory or something. The kit's Bandai version was actually released in January 2020, and Daban model just made a knockoff version of it fairly recently, so we can safely assume that this kit will deliver high quality compared to other bootleg kits. Given that the plastic quality and surface detailing is great, panel lining opportunities are clean as well. There aren't many, but enough to show accents in the kit. Obviously, it shows a lot better on the lighter colored surfaces, especially white. Speaking of color schemes, the Jupitive armor has white as its theme with dark gray to accent it. It's pretty simple but works for me since I'm more of a minimalist with some things such as this. The Core Gundam has a similar color scheme as the first Core Gundam I reviewed. Check that out by the way, where the yellow is a lot more neon than just a basic yellow. I'm not sure what made them decide on this color, but I have no complaints about it. Given that the Core Gundam is the only part that has neon yellow and red, it will surely stand out, but not in a bad way. Shell presence for this kit will require a bit of adjustment as it needs other colored model kits beside it to be noticed properly. Thus, adding it beside other Core Gundam variants makes it a common sense action to do. Nub marks are the usual. Nubs are pretty easy to remove if you have a good model kit nipper or at least a decent hobby knife. Good thing that this kit has a lesser amount of dark parts, or the nub marks are not too obvious since it was placed really well. I still wish for Bandai to continue in making plastic molds that are undergraded to the point that there will be no more nub mark issues in the future, so if a bootleg brand would replicate it, such as Daban model, the result would be a lot better. With this kit being too small, stability is pretty much no issue at all. It's so compact and the joints are tight. But looking into the Jupitive armor, it's a different story. Some parts are tight while some can be just there hanging around, so a hard shake can actually make it either be out of place or completely fall off. Talking about the gimmicks, accessories, and articulation, it has been said way too many times given that it has no difference from the previous review, so I'll go focus on the Jupitive armor instead. Go check those reviews out if you're interested. Obviously, attaching the Jupitive armor parts to the Core Gundam will turn it into the Jupitive Gundam. With the armor attached, the kit now looks a lot better and has the dominant white color acting now as the base, with the dark gray parts popping out on the feet, joints, artillery, especially on the backpack. If this is another build for an RPG character, the Jupitive Gundam has enhanced mobility and attack power for space combat, with its multi-container bits that function as back-mounted additional thrusters and weapons being best representative of the Gunpla concept. Personally, I think of this armor as the counterpart of Earthly Gundam since Jupitive specializes in space combat. Checking on the stability, I noticed that the parts are tight enough except for the shoulder ball joints. I think a bit of extra coating on the ball joint can help tighten it and won't make the kit flimsy. As of now, it can handle a bit of weight on some specific poses. If you wanted to hold the accessories without any flimsy issues, better tighten up the joints. For the accessories, we have the beam sabers, of course. For the built-in ones, we have quite a number with more gimmicks this time. We have the Manifer bits. Beam gun units equipped on the forearms. They can be launched as remote weapons or can be attached to the tips of the shoulders to be used as turrets. Next is the multi-container bit. Normally attached to the back as additional thrusters, these units can be attached to the forearms to be used as beam cannons or generate beam shields and produce beam blades from its barrel to form beam knuckles that have both defensive and offensive capabilities. The units can also be launched as remote weapons. Unfortunately, in order to display the multi-container bits like fin funnels, you will need more than one stand. For the main weapon, we have the Beam Gatling Gun, a custom-built portable main weapon for the Jupitive Gundam. Its rate of fire surpasses that of regular beam rifles. And to hold everything together, we'll still get an additional HG stand. With this number of accessories and gimmicks, the posing options are great. The only downside is that some gimmicky poses can be achieved with additional stands. For my case, it's not really a huge issue since I can borrow the other core Gundam stand. Articulation wise, there's really no big change except to take note that the ankle articulation of the core Gundam is practically the knee articulation of Jupitive Gundam. Overall, this kit is really good. So far, from the core Gundam kits I've built, this might be my favorite just because of how simple it is, but has features similar to both Hainu Gundam and Crossbone Gundam, which are technically my two favorite Gundams. Obviously, that's a big plus. Despite all that though, for anyone who will try to get this kit, make sure to take care of the excess plastic on the underside of the part so there will be no snap fitting issues. But if you want the best quality out of this Gundam, might as well get the Bandai version. Finally, is this kit worth buying for every kind of builder? Definitely! This is one of the kits that in my opinion the best in the Build Divers Re-Rise line other than Mars 4 and Earth 3. So that is it guys, I hope you liked the review. Review releases are slowing down due to planning more and better content in the future. And make sure to reply to everyone, especially if there's anything asked about a kit where the answer isn't in the review. As always, don't forget to like and comment for more. Go check out my other videos if you have the time, and if you like the content you're seeing, consider subscribing. Alright, see you! Peace!